Grab a cup of tea or listen as you go, ladies. This is your hour with Dr. Zoe, your life and relationship coach. With encouragement, on-point insight, inspiring guests, health tips, and advice, Dr. Zoe helps busy women keep their mind in the game by redefining your superwoman. You're listening to The Dr. Zoe Show.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Zoe. I hope your new year is getting off to a great start. You are a woman who is strong and capable and sometimes tired, and it's okay to be tired sometimes, but this is going to be an amazing 2018. If you're a woman, you've come to the right place. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, a life and relationship coach, and I believe that every woman has a superpower. And my job as your life coach is to help you find it, embrace it, and share it with the world. I love connecting with you beautiful ladies on social media. If you'd like to connect with me, you can enter in your text 38470, enter the word join to 38470, and you can connect with me. We're going to be talking today about channeling your inner beauty. There's so many external beauty tips out there that I thought it would be really great to talk about accentuating your inner beauty, the one that lasts forever. But first, I've decided that I'm going to be starting every show with a mom fail and a mom win, because I know that it's good for you ladies to encourage each other and your mom wins and support each other and your superwoman fails. So I have to share this little secret about me. You know how people hate crying babies on airplanes or in public places, especially when you're kind of locked in? A kid's throwing a tantrum. Well, I actually get giddy when that happens. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but number one, it doesn't bother me because I have 4 kids at home. I have dogs. If this kid's screaming right next to me, it actually warms my heart. And the reason why is because I know I'm not the only one. I've been that mom with the kid screaming and not being able to control the kid, whether it's on an airplane or somewhere out. And it's universal. We can't control these kids, right? They control us. But really, it's about camaraderie with another woman. So after my heart smiles, after I feel warm that, somebody else's kid is out of control, I will usually do anything to go up and talk to the mom to let her know it's okay, give her some encouragement, see if there's something I can do to help her out. And that's what we need to do as women as we try to do it all and have it all. So my mom win for this week, or this past week, it's been Christmas, and my heart was so warmed watching my kids interact with each other on Christmas Day and help each other, and to watch my 16-year-old son help my 5-year-old daughter build her Barbie dream house, whatever kind of toys that she got. He put together a trampoline for her. They were just working together so well, and I watched them take care of each other, and it just warmed my heart. And I thought, okay, when I'm gone, they're still going to be okay. They're going to take care of each other. And so for me, that's a mom win because it tells me I'm doing something right. So my mom fail. I probably shouldn't even be sharing this with you guys, but once again, it's about camaraderie. So it's Christmas Eve, and we were going to a brunch at a friend of ours' house. So it's a family brunch, wonderful brunch. We had a wonderful time. My friend Rosie made sangria. She makes a great sangria. I had I had three, 3 sangrias. They were very good, but it was a brunch family event. So afterwards, we needed to go to church. We always go to our church Christmas Eve service. It's tradition in our family. And I didn't pay attention to the time. My 13-year-old son was sure that church started at 7:00. And so I didn't check it. So anyway, we left the party to go to church, and we got to church on time at 7:00, and we all filed in, all 6 of us filing into the back of the church and sat down. It was kind of weird because it seemed like church was really going. And as we sat down, the pastor gave the last prayer at the end of the sermon and excused us all. So we missed the entire Christmas Eve church service for the first time in our family's life because it actually started at 6, not 7. And so we got up and left, in embarrassment, as we had all just filed in right before the end of the prayer, and walked out. And it's funny because, I hugged my pastor's wife, and we talked and laughed about the fact that we were late. But then as we were leaving, I started to think, I literally just had 3 drinks before going to church, got there late. I hugged my pastor's wife. I wonder if I smelled like alcohol. And I was so embarrassed. So there is my mom fail. I hope that it made you feel better. If it didn't, maybe, you feel superior. You got to watch out for that because sometimes that can come back to bite you. But, we're moms, we're women, we're super women. We're trying to do it all. And sometimes we do a really great job and sometimes we just don't. And that's okay. So we're going to be talking again, like I said, about inner beauty. And I'm so happy to have our guest, Dale Smith Thomas. And I love the way, Dale, that you describe yourself. I'm trying to remember what it was. Hope ambassador?
That's one of them, but an unapologetic optimist and a hope dealer.
Hope dealer. That's what it is. I love that.
And I think hope is helping other people excel. And if we all would deal a little hope every day, helping somebody else excel with a smile or a hug or, a pat on the back and say, that's okay, Mom, you got to church. You might have got there late, but girl, you got there.
We got there. Exactly. We got there. And we got to witness a very wonderful ending prayer for Christmas time.
And it'll be something your kids will always remember and look back on.
Yes, my son was like, well, I guess it started at 6. I guess so. So, Dale, you were, oh my goodness, you've just had amazing career in life. And you're in Nashville. That's where I was born. We were talking about that before the show. I am originally from Nashville before I moved to Maryland. But you were Miss America in 1980. You wrote a wonderful book. And I think it's such a great book because we know the Miss America pageants, right? They're all about external beauty.
Right. And I wasn't Miss America. It was my best friend that was Miss America.
Oh, I thought you were. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I'll take it. I was Mrs. Tennessee and I represented Tennessee at Mrs. America. So I have a pageant background too.
Yes, you do.
But yes, when we think of pageantry, especially, we think of external beauty because it's a, quote, beauty pageant.
Right.
And in fact, I was just the keynote speaker for the Miss Florida pageant a few weeks ago. But my message to the girls was that the judges of a pageant only decide who takes the sparkly hat home.
Mm-hmm.
You decide if you're beautiful or not, if you win or lose or not by what you take from the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think a lot of people look at beauty pageants and think the girls must really think they're beautiful. I believe a lot of times girls are searching for identity and they're searching to really find themselves.
And for validation.
Yeah, to find out who they really are. And through the interview process and through those things, you really have to come face to face with that. And I was 30 years old with a 3-year-old when I won Mrs. Tennessee and went to Mrs. America. So, girl, that's a wake-up call to compete at age 30 with a 3-year-old climbing up your dress, screaming, "Pick me up!"
I can so relate to that. But how wonderful. Good for you. Good for you.
I knew I had this message I wanted to share.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody just said to me, well, why don't you enter Mrs. Tennessee? Well, I didn't think there were enough married women with dragging kids around that would enter a pageant. So I thought, I'll just pop up in there and, kind of win this thing.
Right.
There were 56 women. I lost for 2 years and finally won the 3rd year. So I drug Nick around, my son, around the state of Tennessee. And I remember taking him to the bathroom at some festival and forgot my crown was on my head and leaned over to pull his pants up, talking about mom fail.
Mom fail, yes.
Well, the crown went straight in the toilet, girlfriend.
Oh, no. You had to fetch that thing out.
Yeah, you gotta, what do? You fish it out, you wash it off, you put it back on your head, and you listen to your 3-year-old goes, your crown was in the potty. So.
He'll be sure to tell everyone that's what they do. And that's what superwomen do. We fish the crown out of the toilet and put it back on our head.
That's one of the things that I'm teaching in the book. I'm using that word crown because I believe God sends us all to the planet with an invisible crown of worth on our heads. And crown means confidently respecting our worth now, right now. If you're listening to us right now, you came to this planet with a crown of worth on your head. But when you dip your head in disrespect to yourself, like when you look in the mirror and all you talk about is what you don't like, or if you dip your head in disrespect to yourself when someone talks down to you, you don't stand up for yourself, your crown falls off. So I encourage all of you women and all of you smart men that are listening, keep your crown up, hold your head up, let your light shine. Because if your crown is not up, that light can't come out and be the hope dealer that you need to be.
Yes, you are so right about that. And I love that you say it's an invisible crown, because
It's an invisible crown.
we have to make it visible, right?
Yes.
Nobody else is going to make it visible for you. You have to know it's there.
You have to recognize it. So if it's not a sparkly rhinestone cap, hat, like the pageants, but it's still there. So you've got to step into that worth and you've got to recognize it. And I congratulate you what you're doing on helping women change that and change that vision of themselves, because that's the most important vision, is the vision you have of yourself.
Right. And I always talk about it in terms of stories. The stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves make such a big difference.
And that's how I started Good Morning Gorgeous. It was honestly just randomly. I was standing on a stage, I don't even remember where, and I started talking about that how we get up every day. The energy that we embrace every day when we get up sets the tone for the rest of the day. And so just out of my mouth, thank you, God, out of my mouth, I just said, well, how many of y'all got up this morning, looked in the mirror and said, good morning, gorgeous? Well, of course, 5 men in the back of the room raised their hand.
Right.
And like, of course you did. But the women said, the women are looking at me like, oh, no, girl. I'm looking in the mirror going, oh, good Lord, what happened?
Right.
And as I told you earlier, I believe women go to war before we ever leave the bathroom. Now, you men, I celebrate you because y'all don't care what the mirror shows you. You see Superman.
Isn't that funny? I watch my 16-year-old walk around the house looking at himself in the mirror, and he's so proud of what he sees, which is wonderful. I love that. Yeah, I love it.
I saw a guy the other day. I said, you sure are cocky. He went, no, girl, I am convinced.
And you know what? We women have to be convinced of that. Not just our external beauty, but our internal beauty as well. And recognize that internal beauty, of course, is something that never fades. But on top of that, when we're able to express our internal beauty all the time, when it just oozes out of us, we look beautiful on the inside. It's attractive.
That's right. Because when you walk in a room and you can feel that radiance come from someone, and you will remember how you felt in that radiance. I believe that people may not remember what you say, but they remember how they felt in your presence. Yes. And so if you are feeling joyful, if you are feeling gratitude, if you are feeling that you are blessed, it's hard to really destroy yourself verbally. But ladies, I am telling you, there is a negative Neva inside your head, and she loves to run her mouth 24/7. And you have to be the person that says, I will not accept this. And every time you start to hear that negativity, you stop and you replace it with something powerful and purposeful. And you look in the mirror and you find something that you like about yourself. And that's how we teach others to do the same, by living it in front of them.
That's perfect. So you gave it. So I was just going to say, let's start talking about some nuts and bolts. So one of the nuts and bolts of helping yourself create that inner beauty is what we say to ourselves, replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts. And that is so important, because I always say we talk to ourselves more than we talk to anybody else. We talk to ourselves more than anybody else talks to us. So, so tell us, because you haven't always felt confident, right? So give us some insight into how you've developed some of your confidence and self-esteem. You know what? We're going to pick up on that in just a minute, because my producer told me we're going to go to commercial break. This is Dr. Zoe, and I am here having a great conversation with Dale Smith Thomas about really channeling your inner beauty. We'll be back in just a minute.
People ask me, how do you have so much energy? I am not a coffee drinker, but I love the benefits of matcha green tea. More antioxidants than coffee and a smooth energy, not the jittery kind that lasts me all day long. Perfect for you supermoms too. I have searched the world over for that perfect matcha for my smoothies, and I have found it at Kiss Me Organics. You can get it too at kissmeorganics.com. Enter the promo code Dr. Zoe, DRZOE, for 10% off and free shipping. Experience the smooth, healthy, organic energy of matcha green tea. KissMeOrganics.com.
Hi, guys. It's Dr. Zoe. I am back here with my guest, Dale Smith Thomas. She is an international empowerment speaker and author of Good Morning Gorgeous. And that gorgeous refers to your internal beauty, not your external beauty. And so we are here talking about channeling your inner beauty. So,
Absolutely.
Dale, we were just talking about some tips for women who
Yes.
might be struggling, feeling like, number one, I don't feel gorgeous. And then number two, I don't even know how to feel good about myself on the inside. I don't even know how to project that. What are some
Right.
tips that you could give some women who are struggling in that area?
Well, first of all, I grew up in a very, very poor environment in North Mississippi. And I was the kid that I wrote about in the book that never felt like I was gorgeous or even cute.
Mhm.
You know, I was too tall, too skinny, all at the wrong times. I had this crazy wild hair when everybody had straight hair. My eyes were big, my lips were big, and it was just all at the wrong times. You know, people are paying for this now.
Right.
But, you know, I was not cute when I was sick.
Mhm.
And so I grew up just really focused on everything I hated about myself.
Mhm.
And I just felt like I was behind the door when God gave out talent and beauty and everything. But what I've learned through personal growth in my 20s and watching a friend of mine overcome incredible odds, that what you focus on gets bigger.
Yes.
You cannot complain and be in gratitude at the same time. You can't do it. And
Mhm.
so I challenge you, if you're waking up and not feeling gorgeous, I am going to ask you to look at yourself and ask yourself, what are you focusing on? Because every single one of us can look in the mirror and find something we don't like. My son is 31 years old. It is hard for me to even say that. You know, I am 3820, do the math.
Right.
But, you know, I'm the same age as Barbie. That's what I tell people. But I can find things that I don't like about
Of
myself.
course.
But what you focus on is like holding a magnifying glass to it. So, ladies, when you get up in the morning and you're going to war with that mirror, I want you to stop and I want you to say, good morning, gorgeous, whether you feel like it or not. Because motion creates emotion. You've got to act better if you want to feel better. You cannot feel your way sometime into that. You've got to act your way into that feeling. And you've got to say, I am gorgeous because I am breathing air and I have the opportunity to live another day.
Mhm.
I am gorgeous because I have eyes to see and ears to hear. You can find something that will take you away from that complaining and start to transform that vocabulary, and you will start to transform your life. If you see something you don't like on your face, I go, well, isn't that interesting?
I like
Isn't
that.
interesting?
Isn't that interesting? And
Isn't that interesting?
and you know what you said is backed by research. There is research that has proven that you actually make chemical changes in your brain by the
Yes.
things that you say, even by the things that you think. That when you smile, you create
Right.
chemical changes in your brain that actually make you feel better. So yes,
Right.
acting as if isn't just acting, you're actually creating.
That's right. And, you know,
Mhm.
think about it. When you're feeling bad and you bring that energy in the room, people start saying, are you sick? And I ask
Mhm.
people, I'm sure they ask you too, Zoe. People ask me all the time, I'm in every time zone in the world and I'm always in this energy. Do you think I, quote, feel like it? No, I don't feel like it.
Right.
Half the time I am exhausted and I'm jet lagged, but I choose to be in this energy. I choose to see good. Is it easy? No. Those of us who teach it every day, it's still hard. I just got a group of photos back from a photo shoot. I found myself going through them last night going, I hate every one of them. Look
Aw.
at that. I hate that. So if you're listening to me and think, well, sure, it's easy for you, Dale. You've done it all these years. You're an ex-beauty queen, yada, yada, yada. No, I went to war with myself last night for about 30 minutes before I stopped. So this is not a one-time decision where you're going to say today, I'm going to start changing my language. Sometimes it's going to have to be every second. Some days it's going to be easier. Some days it's tougher. Now, let me tell you, if it's okay, Zoe, how I do that, because
Please.
there are days I'm exhausted from speaking all over the world corporately and doing what I do. There are days that my car is empty. My inner soul is empty. And if you are a mother and you're managing kids and a job and a husband and a house, and guess what? Your car is empty too.
Yes.
And guys, we can't drive a car if we're not putting gas in it.
Right.
So why are we running our lives thinking that we're going to live a happy, prosperous, successful, empowered, abundant life when we're running on empty? So how do you refuel? Well, for me, it starts with an hour of power in the morning. It means getting up an hour earlier. And I know that may sound like a sacrifice, But if you need your fuel, you may need fuel more than you need that extra 15 minutes of sleep. But if you would simply transform 30 minutes a day, if you would read something positive, listen to something like this show, if you will put something positive in your day and you did it 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, give up Facebook, give up Instagram for 30 minutes, give up, whatever for 30 minutes. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, you will have spent 28 8-hour days in personal improvement. That will change your life, but will you do it? But that's how I start my day, journaling, reading, meditating every day. Because if I didn't, then I would not be able to run my car on empty, and neither can you.
Right. Neither can you.
I'm preaching now.
You are preaching. And I love it. And you know what else, women? We can multitask it, because I'm a firm believer in exactly what you said and reading 30 minutes a day. But I don't always have 30 minutes to sit down and read. But that's why I love Audible. Absolutely. I listen to my books when I work out. And so I actually get more than 30 minutes. I get about an hour and a half a day. Right. Maybe not quite an hour and a half, but at least an hour a day of listening to really great books and podcasts. I certainly listen to those as well. And feeding myself when I'm working out, or sometimes when I'm in the car. And so we can multitask it too. So if you feel like I don't have that 30 minutes, but yes, you definitely need to take some time. That is just me time. The morning is so much easier for moms because by the evening, number one, you're exhausted and it's just too crazy. But if you can get up those few minutes and give yourself a little bit of space from the family, from your life, from all of your, activities and things that you have to do, it does make a really big difference in your life.
And you would never not feed your kids.
Right.
Why are you not feeding yourself?
Yes.
You would never not feed your kids. And it's just, ladies, and I know it's hard to think, I can't find that. I'm not asking you to find an extra 30 minutes. I am asking you to just reposition it.
Yes.
And you can put that headset on, and while you're making breakfast, listen to a podcast, or while, you can do that. It's just being self-disciplined enough to realize the value of you.
And the other thing you talked about is intentional, because sometimes you just have to have that intention. And if you keep that intention up front, you'll find the places to do it. Just like me with the podcast, with the, Audible. It's an intention that was very important to me, and I figured out a way to make it work into my life. So it really is about that intention.
And so we have to make ourselves as important as we make everything else. Women are the queen of the to-do list, but we never make it to that list. And you need to put yourself on that list. And I need to remind you that guilt is a choice. I started teaching my son Nick every day when he was 2 years old. He could choose to be happy. Of course, at 2 years old, he's like, I want to choose to be happy. I'm like, okay, just so you know, that's your choice, Nick Thomas.
Right.
That is your choice, Nick Thomas. But ladies, so many times we play this guilt card. We feel this guilt. But you have to stop and realize guilt is a choice. Anger is a choice. Nobody can make you mad without your consent. You say, those kids are driving me crazy. Well, no, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say the kids are driving me crazy. I want you to think about, what if every word that you spoke out of your mouth instantly came true? Even the good book says that out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth will speak.
Yes. I'm going to go a step further. What if every thought that you had came true? Yes. You would definitely.
What if every thought manifested immediately? Where would you be right now? And I had a woman raise her hand the other day and said, I'd be in jail. And I said, what'd you do? Tell him you were going to kill him? She said, yes, sister, and I meant it too. But, we get on this because it's habit.
Right.
It's habit. Somebody says, how are you? Oh, I'm all right. It's habit. It's habit. So we have to break this habit, this cycle that we get into, because negative is normal. Right. You have to search for the positive. You have to reach for it. You have to really be intentional about it. But when you do, if you would try it for 30 days and then 30 more, and then make it a lifestyle, it'll change your life, like you and I both know. Absolutely. It's changed mine and it's changed yours.
So that is our challenge, women, is to try it for 30 days. Become intentional about pouring into yourself. Whether that's, a couple minutes in the morning, but when you wake up, listening, reading to something, something every single day, becoming intentional for 30 days is a really great challenge.
And I'm going to throw one more, Zoe.
Please do.
They will if they will reach out to me on Instagram, Dale Smith Thomas, or Twitter, and just say, I'm going to be intentional about changing my life, and they put at Dale Smith Thomas, so I know about it, I will send you a gift to help you be intentional.
Awesome.
And it's a live presentation. It's an hour long of all of my teaching. It was for women. And I will plant that seed into your life if you will join us in being intentional.
Wonderful. So they can connect with you on Twitter, on Instagram at Dale Smith Thomas.
Dale Smith Thomas, yes.
Great.
Yes. Very, very easy to do. And you know what? This becomes a generational thing now because I grew up with great parents, but they didn't teach me any of these life lessons. But now that my son is 31 and he's a race car driver, and that's a big mental game.
It is.
It's amazing now to realize that all that pushback I got when he was little, I don't want to choose that. He has now implemented all of that. And in fact, one time when he was 10, I was on his case. He was wearing me out. I was having a mom fail. I told him, out of my kitchen, I'm about to take you out, And he looked at me and he said, hey, mama, you don't have to let my actions affect your attitude.
Oh, my goodness. He fed it back to you. That's good.
Listen to my CDs, dude.
That is good. But that's a good mama, though. He heard it. You planted the seeds and he fed it back to you. How beautiful.
So there's our motto of the day. How many times a day do you allow someone else's actions to take control of your attitude, which takes control of your actions, which steals your joy?
It does.
Take your power back.
Wonderful.
Take it back.
Thank you so much for these wonderful tips, Dale. This is the Dr. Zoe Show, and we are going on commercial break. We will be back in just a minute.
People ask me, how do you have so much energy? I am not a coffee drinker, but I love the benefits of matcha green tea. More antioxidants than coffee and a smooth energy, not the jittery kind that lasts me all day long. Perfect for you supermoms too. I have searched the world over for that perfect matcha for my smoothies, and I have found it at Kiss Me Organics. You can get it too at kissmeorganics.com. Enter the promo code Dr. Zoe, DRZOE, for 10% off and free shipping. Experience the smooth, healthy, organic energy of matcha green tea. KissMeOrganics.com.
Hey ladies, it's Dr. Zoe. I'm back here with my guest, Dale Smith Thomas, and we are talking about channeling your inner beauty. And I just wanted to talk for a few minutes about how we can get over the fear of expressing ourselves, because your beauty is there. Who you are is beautiful in and of itself without anything that you need to do to it. But oftentimes we fear expressing who we are because we're worried about what other people will think. And I was even just sharing with Dale about, when it comes to self-talk, when I started off the show this morning and me sharing my mom fail, when I was thinking about sharing it, I was thinking, should I share this? Because people might judge me. And then I thought, but why? It's the truth. And we need to be able to do that and know that some people are going to accept it. Some people aren't. Right, Dale?
Right. And as I said to you when we were at commercial break, is that you being willing to share your transparency gives others a permission to be transparent also, because it's really easy to see people in the public eye and think we have it all together.
Right.
And I think one of the ways that we release that fear of what other people think is, first of all, we've got to, again, silence the voices in our head, because we cannot let someone else's opinion of us become our reality.
Right.
And so far along the way, my mother was told in 3rd grade that she didn't have a thimble full of sense. And my mother's one of the smartest people, but do you know she brought that with her? So I'm going to challenge you, first of all, to silence those voices of any person who has told you that you are not valuable. And second of all, the way I think that we counteract that, because we're all, that's a battle we all face. What is somebody going to think?
Right.
But if we think of ourselves as a gift to the world, if you are here listening to us, Dale, you have a purpose on this planet. You have a purpose, and you are beautiful. There is something gorgeous and special about you. When you share that, you're giving that gift to the world. And so when you think about giving a gift to someone, you just have to release how they're going to accept it. And we were talking during the break, our friend Les Brown, which is a magnificent teacher and speaker.
Yes.
He said, what someone else thinks about you is none of your business. And I say, preach, Les, preach. But we allow someone else's opinion of us start to really cloud us, and it sets up our fear. And fear will paralyze you. And you can't be who you are if you're standing in fear. So stand up. You are special and you have a purpose, and do not let anyone's opinion of you rob you from what you were sent to this planet to do. Because if you feel like there's a book that you're supposed to write, only you can write it. And a song, only you can sing it. So go do it.
And I love that you say that you are a gift to the world. And when we talk about how we speak to ourselves, imagine if you go around constantly thinking, I'm a gift. I'm a gift, and I have so much to give. Imagine how differently you're going to feel about yourself. And so when you're fearful and when you're worried about what other people think of you, which of course is none of your business, when you are, sometimes it helps to just take small steps.
Oh,
just
absolutely.
share a little bit, or just do a small step toward that thing that you're fearful of when it comes to expressing yourself. Sometimes if you just think of doing a small step instead of jumping out and, go, public speaking or something like that, it's a way to jump into it. Right. Or a pageant. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're kind of crazy like Dale and I, you'll just put yourself in those kind of situations. But if not, it's just the small steps that will add up every single day.
And can I throw one more thing into
Please.
it? Let me tell you, one of the things that really helped me, because I was so scared when I was entering Mrs. Tennessee, because I was new into my personal growth journey. I was in my late 20s. So what I did was I took a journal and I just started really identifying what I was really afraid of. And, at that time, I was in a church group, and I was afraid they were going to think I was ridiculous for being in a pageant with a swimsuit, and would I get their acceptance, and would they think I was all of this? And so I just started journaling everything that I was afraid of. And when you really, really get clear in that, and you keep asking yourself the questions, then you will come to that answer, and you will realize it's really nothing to be afraid of at all. It's really nothing to be afraid of at all. And I said, I'll pray. If Zoe and I had both given in to what we were afraid other people would think about us being in the public eye, we wouldn't be sharing the gift that we believe God sent us here to share with you. And so if we can do it, you can do it too. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And everybody has a gift. Everybody does. And I love that you said that about writing down your fears, because often when it comes to those things that we want to do, it's about what other people think about us, right? And so if you can, when you're trying to make a decision, when there's something you want to do, if you can think, if nobody had anything negative to say about this, what would my decision be? Yeah.
Right.
And that's what your decision should be, right?
Right. And I want to throw out something, because I know the physical thing with women is so important, and that's what we beat ourselves up about.
Right.
I mean, we look in that mirror and we beat ourselves up. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. If you don't like something about yourself, write it down. Write it down. Write down what you don't like. Then here's your decision. If you're not willing to change it, you don't get to complain about it, because you cannot complain about what you permit. If you don't like your nose, but you're not willing to get surgery, get happy with a unique nose and call it unique instead of whatever you're calling it. And
reframe it.
I had to learn, if you don't like it and you're not willing to do the work to change it, I don't believe we should complain about what we permit. If that makes sense. That's hard and that's harsh, but that's what I had to do. And it started to change my language, because I'd say, okay, I don't like sometimes this crazy frizzy hair, but I'm not going to go get a blowout every week. I'm just not going to do it.
Right.
So I'm going to get happy with the craziness. I'm going to get happy with the craziness. And so when you start to do that and start to take ownership of it, it changes it.
That's a big one. I really like that one. I like that. And of course, then I think about, okay, but what about things that you can't change? And so if there are things in your life that you don't like, or on your body that you don't like, and there isn't a plastic surgery that can change it, maybe you would if there were one, then I think it's the same concept. If you can't change it, right, you can't focus on it. Your life is still going to move forward. You are still who you are. And so why focus on that?
My son goes, Mom, your hands are gross. I have these skinny little chicken wrists with these veiny arms. Me and Angelina Jolie. I mean, we've got these, and that's what I started doing, girl. I'm like, stop telling me that. Angelina Jolie's got them too, so stop.
She sure does, yes.
But I can do nothing about the skinny, veiny hands.
Exactly.
But if I looked at that and say, I hate my hands, I hate my hands, I hate my hands, guess what? It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And if you can't do anything about it, putting fuel on the fire is going to do nothing but depress you. Stop it.
Exactly. And I love calling it something different. Call it interesting. Call it quirky,
Yes,
call it, Angelina Jolie lookalike, whatever you
want. That's right. Whatever you got to do.
Yes.
Whatever you got to do. That's right. Exactly.
That is a great one. I love that. Reframing it. So if you can change it, but you're not willing to do the work, you don't get to complain. But if you can't change it, reframe it.
Let it go.
Let it go. Yes.
And you know what? Tear it up and let it go. And when I do, I'm starting to do these Good Morning Gorgeous workshops, and I have women to write it down and tear it up and give it to me. And then I say to them, when you come looking for it next week and you're trying to talk about it, you're going to have to fly to Nashville to get it.
Right.
Because I'm throwing it away. And then you can say to yourself, I let that go last week. I let that go last week, but I'm letting it go right now. Let it go. That should be your mantra. Let it go.
And recognize that nobody else cares about it. And guys, she's holding up her hands so I can see them on Skype. Her hands are gorgeous, And so the reality is that we tend to focus on things about ourselves that nobody else cares about, nobody else would ever recognize.
Right. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Except, my friend that's a comedian says, who ordered the chicken wings? But, other than that, nobody recognizes. And, that's another thing. So many times we're so worried about what people are thinking about us. Guess what?
They're worried. Not. And they're worried about what you're thinking about them.
Right.
Yes.
That's right. And we're so busy worried about what we're thinking about, they're thinking about, they're not thinking about it. So the next time you're worried about what somebody's thinking about you, just remember, they're not.
They're not.
They're worried about what you're thinking about them. So just let it go.
Yes. Beautiful. Those are really great tips. Thank you. And, we talked a little bit about fear, and I love what you talked about earlier off show about how you didn't want to pass down that fear to your child. And you didn't, because he's a race car driver. And so my encouragement to you ladies is that fear does not have to be something that you have to pass down. It doesn't have to be something that you have to continue to live with even tomorrow or for the rest of your life. Can you tell a little bit about that little story with your son?
And girl, my mother's still worrying. She's still fearful. I mean, I am 58 years old and she's still worried if I'm going to get there on the airplane. But I was such a fearful child. I would not raise my hand in class. I was scared to speak in public. I was afraid of everything. And so when my son was little, he was about 2 and he was about to run around the house and it was getting dark. And I caught myself saying, don't go around there. It's dark. Now, I'm not telling you not to protect your children and teach them what's safe and all that, but there was nothing harmful about that.
Right.
And so I said, no, go ahead and go. Because I realized I could instill that fear in him at that moment.
Yes.
Fear, as Dennis Waitley says, is false evidence appearing real. But we've got to do this, find faith, finding answers in the heart. I love acronyms. So finding answers in the heart. So when you get fearful, halt. Right. And, I heard that, and maybe you've heard this as a therapist, that if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, stop. Halt.
Yes.
What does a basketball team or a football team do when the game gets out of control? They call a timeout.
Yes.
Ladies, call a timeout for yourself. Take a step back and say, what am I really fearful of? What am I really feeling? What can I do about it? How can I let it go? And to move into that next moment, feeling gorgeous from the inside out. And you know what? Tomorrow, say good morning, gorgeous to yourself, but say it to 5 people. Say it to the girl in the checkout counter. Say it to someone. They're going to think that something's wrong with you. They'll go, what is wrong with you? But if we would all just pay it forward and say, you look gorgeous today, your smile is gorgeous. If we would all do that for each other, then we will begin to build each other up. Yes. And then together we can make a difference. And the only way to get rid of this darkness in this world is to turn on the light. Turn on the light.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Dale. Thank you so much. And I love that you say paying it forward. And yes, they'll think you're crazy, but they will carry that with them all day.
Absolutely.
It'll be this little
I get texts every day from corporate audiences. They're saying that women are still doing it a year later. They're still embracing that silly little phrase, good morning, gorgeous. And you know what? When you first start saying it, you're not going to feel it. It doesn't matter if you feel it or not. Do it anyway. Say it to your kids. Make your kids say it to you.
Yes, you plant those seeds.
But he already going, good morning, gorgeous. To himself.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Dale. This has been such a wonderful conversation. And I know that you've been a source of encouragement to my listeners. I appreciate it. I just want to share your book. It's called Good Morning, Gorgeous. You can get it where, Dale?
You can get it on Amazon, or you can come to my website, dalesmiththomas.com, and find it there also. And, we're going to be doing Good Morning Gorgeous workshops. So follow us. We may be bringing one there to California. And if we do, you got to come be a part of it.
Absolutely. I would love to be a part of that. And also, she's giving a free gift to anybody who connects with her on Instagram, Twitter, any of her social medias, and lets her know that you are going to be intentional.
That's right. About being gorgeous. Just mention that you heard us here with Zoe, and it will be our gift to you. Thank you so much. God bless you for what you're doing.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you too. You take care.
All right. I look forward to being back with you again. Y'all can see me in Nashville.
Yes, we'd love to have you back. You take care, Dale.
All right.
This is Dr. Zoe talking with Dale Smith Thomas, a wonderful conversation about channeling your inner beauty. And we'll be right back. I'm going to come back with some real talk and some health tips.
People ask me, how do you have so much energy? I am not a coffee drinker, but I love the benefits of matcha green tea. More antioxidants than coffee and a smooth energy, not the jittery kind that lasts me all day long. Perfect for you supermoms too. I have searched the world over for that perfect matcha for my smoothies, and I have found it at Kiss Me Organics. You can get it too at kissmeorganics.com. Enter the promo code Dr. Zoe, DRZOE, for 10% off and free shipping. Experience the smooth, healthy, organic energy of matcha green tea. KissMeOrganics.com.
Hi, guys. This is Dr. Zoe back after speaking with Dale Smith Thomas. Just such a wonderful, really rich conversation about inner beauty and self-esteem. And I just got so much from it. So I hope you did. And you can find her at winnersbychoice.com. You can find her social media, Dale Smith Thomas, and connect with her. So now we are going to be talking about a little bit of health tips. And I'm going to be doing some real talk. Remember, your mind and body are intimately connected. You can't have health in one without health in the other. And that's why I have a health tips segment. Healthy looks different on everybody. So stop the comparisons, ladies. So I have two health tips today. The first one is the Calm app. Now, I know you guys have probably heard about a lot of meditation apps, and I've even talked to you about some, but this one is really cool, and I'm not getting paid at all by this. It's Calm, CALM, and you can just put that into your app, and it doesn't just help you meditate. It does. It gives you meditations, but it also provides sleep stories. Grown-up people can be read to sleep. Amazing. And you can also program it to give you relaxing nature sounds, like those nature sound machines or whatever. You can program it to do that. It gives you breathing exercises and music for relaxation, focus, and sleep. And it's free. Can't get better than that. So that's one of my health tips for today. And going into the new year, focusing on, just like we talked about, being intentional about taking care of you. The Calm app is a really good one. And I'm going to do a throwback. I'm going to talk again about pushing up your age. Why is this so important? And what is it? It's really just doing as many push-ups as you are old. And here's the thing. I know everyone's like, I can't do that. Okay, I'm not asking you to do all of the push-ups for however old you are. If you're 50 years old, I'm not asking you to start with 50 today. Start with one. Just start with one and build up. If you do push-ups every day, women, this is not just a man thing. You will be amazed at the amount of strength that you feel. Your core will be tighter. You will sit up straighter. You will feel so much better just doing push-ups every night before you go to bed. Simple as that. Push up your age. So now it's real talk. If you're just tuning in, it's Dr. Zoe, and this is Real Talk. Generally, I answer questions from my listeners. But today I'm going to be just sharing some of my own musings and encouragement. And I also encourage you guys to reach out to me if you have questions you'd like me to address on the show. All the questions I do address are anonymous. But today it's just my musings, ladies. So I've missed the show. I really enjoy being home. I have missed doing the show, but I've enjoyed being home, having some pause and being off work a little bit and being domestic. I forgot how much I like being domestic and cooking for my family. And I think that all working moms should create a domestic vacation. Now, when I say domestic vacation, I don't mean cleaning. That's for me, because cleaning, I hate cleaning. That doesn't feel good to me, doesn't do anything for me. But a staycation at home where you do whatever it is that makes you feel domestic. For me, it's cooking. For others, it could be sewing. For others, possibly cleaning, although I don't really understand that. But That pause is so good. So take it when you can. And for stay-at-home moms, your pause might look different. Maybe a me time vacation where you're taking off domestic duties. I know it's easy to say, try to put it in your life, but I know if your little ones are really little, maybe it's downright impossible for a long period of time, but for short periods, maybe. Decide not to cook a meal. Do something you're passionate about instead. And if you have trouble figuring out what you're passionate about, reach out to me. Reach out to me because that's a big one for me is trying to help women find that your superpower and things that you're passionate about. But letting your family know, I'm taking a me vacation, even if it's just for an hour, and everyone else has to chip in because I'm not making dinner today. Or if you can take longer, of course, try to do so. But the change up is really good. It helps you, and I've talked about this before, when you do something different, even if it's taking a different route to somewhere, it helps you see your life differently. It helps you see everything through a slightly different lens. So that's my encouragement to you today is to figure out how to incorporate some me vacations in your life. So changing subjects for those listening live, it's January 2nd. It's clean slate day. The holidays are officially over and you're getting back into your routine. If you're listening on podcast, it's 2 weeks later. I think maybe the 16th or something like that. Some of you guys may be saying, thank God the holidays are over. And others of you guys might be feeling a little bit of fear and trepidation about upcoming resolutions and your ability to maintain them because those resolutions, a lot of people feel a lot of pressure to create them. Some people chuck it all together and say, I'm not going to do it. But some people do kind of feel the pressure to, it's the new year. I need to create resolutions. And then there's that fear of, oh, maybe I'm not going to accomplish it. It's the same resolution I had last year. And so I'm not giving you permission to ditch your New Year's resolution, but rather I'm encouraging you to know that you are good enough with or without your New Year's resolution. Yes, you are good enough. And what I mean by that is that often we have these goals and we have this idea that if we get there, we're going to be happy. Or if we attain this thing, our life is finally going to be meaningful. And so we go off in search of it. We search for it urgently, especially at the beginning of the year, thinking this is the thing that's going to make me feel good or make me be okay or worthy or finally good enough. And so please go search it, do it, fix it, accomplish it. But also know that your worth has nothing at all to do with that thing. Your worth is separate from that, and you are okay. Because what often happens is that when we attain that thing, that number on the scale, or that degree, or that title, or that home, or that whatever it is that we're trying to get, if we're not already happy with ourselves, if we haven't yet figured out that we really are good enough without it, it's not going to fill that void because those things, even accomplishments, even people, relationships, they can't fill that void. We have to do it for ourselves. And I've talked before about, our parents put holes in us, yes. And our job as adults is to fill those holes for ourselves. And often we seek out other things to try to fill those holes. So this new year, in addition to your resolutions, because I do think resolutions are good. I do think that, just like with spring, there comes new things and that we should have these rotations in our life. And the new year is a great time to start those resolutions. But I encourage you also that in addition to your resolution, to work on loving yourself in progress, loving yourself for the messy, weird, different, mistake-ridden, beautiful self that you are. Can that be your New Year's resolutions, ladies? Please, that's what I'm asking. So thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Zoe Show. Embrace your weird. We're all weird. Embrace it. Tune in next week and every week on Tuesdays from 12 to 1 Pacific and 3 to 4 Eastern at LA Radio Now. For those who can't always listen live, check out the reruns of my show on iTunes, Google Play, Libsyn, and YouTube. And like I said, I have this great editor now, and she's going to be getting everything out exactly 2 weeks after this show. Tuesday mornings, I think it's as early as 6:30 for you guys on the East Coast. My shows will post on iTunes Tuesday mornings and all those other places that I said. And I am your life and relationship coach. I help sometimes struggling superwomen keep your mind in the game by redefining your superwoman. If you know a friend who might benefit from any of our topics, please spread the love and share my show. If you like my show, please also show me some stars on whatever those places are. Connect with me at drzoeshaw.com or any of my social medias at the handle Dr. Zoe, and join my free newsletter and get a copy of 30-Minute Life Transformation, The Secret to Getting Stuff Done. And that's a good one for the new year. You might want to check that out. You can do that by texting the word join to 38470. And I look forward to speaking to you wonderful ladies on social media after the show. Have a super week.
You've been listening to The Dr. Zoe Show, redefining your superwoman, with your host, Dr. Zoe Shaw. Don't forget to sign up for her monthly newsletters to get encouragement, tips, and skills for keeping your mind in the superwoman game. Connect with her now at www.drzoeshaw.com. Tell your friends and subscribe to her podcast on iTunes. Join us next time for another edition of The Dr. Zoe Show.